What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our draft profile and analysis for Alabama wide receiver John Metchie III. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, before we get into today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video as it will help us out tremendously. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video. All right, Nick, the draft is fast approaching and we have another profile to get to. Today, we're going to be talking about Alabama wide receiver John Metchie III. John Metchie stands in at 6 feet tall, 195 pounds, and PFF disrespecting this man as the number 14 ranked wide receiver in this draft class. Nick, you have a pro comp of Emmanuel Sanders on this guy. I think he is honestly one of the better possession catchers that we have in this draft class. When you take a look at Metchie's stats, he has 3 years played, 30 total games, 155 receptions, 2,081 yards, and 14 touchdowns. Obviously dealing with that torn ACL that he had back in December. A big, tough issue for John Metchie, but he's going to overcome, he's going to adapt, and if I know anything about Alabama wide receivers, they will come to play when they get on the football field. Nick, tell us a little bit about the strengths and weaknesses that John Metchie will bring to the NFL.
This guy is a bad man, and when we look at what this guy brought to Alabama, it was his route instincts, his route running ability that really helped him create separation and become one of Mac Jones' favorite targets, leading towards that national championship victory. This guy was incredible and continuing that throughout his senior season. And then we also look at the yards after catch ability. What this guy does with the ball in his hands is absolutely incredible. He will make you miss, and if you're in his way, he's not afraid to go through you. He is an absolute mauler, and don't look at the size, don't look at the weight. This guy plays bigger than he looks. When you look at the weaknesses though, as you mentioned, that torn ACL is on the minds of every general manager in this draft class, which is why he will be a day 2 guy going the 2nd or 3rd round. And then he does tend to lack some focus at times, doesn't follow the ball into his hands, tends to turn his head upfield and look to see where the defender is, leading to some drop passes. That is something that will not fly and something he will definitely have to work on.
When you take a look at some potential teams, obviously we're looking at the 2nd, possibly even the 3rd round when it comes to John Metchie. And I have to start off with a team that could really utilize the services of a wide receiver like this, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears need to surround Justin Fields with weapons, and it starts with a guy like John Metchie, who isn't necessarily a burner, but if you get the ball in his hands, he is going to make things happen. Justin Fields needs to be able to get the ball out of his hands, especially with that spotty offensive line. I think that the Chicago Bears need to take a flyer on a guy like John Metchie in the 2nd or 3rd round.
Another team to look at would be the Cleveland Browns. After getting Amari Cooper, that was great and all, but you got to get somebody to offset him. And if you think Donovan Peoples-Jones is enough, you're just mistaken, because that's just not going to cut it. John Metchie would be a great addition to these two guys and fit extremely well with what Deshaun Watson does best.
Another team that should look at John Metchie is the New England Patriots. Nick, you already talked about the rapport that Metchie has with Mac Jones, and when you take a look at where the Patriots are, their wide receiver depth, while it's not the best in the league, definitely doesn't need John Metchie to start right away, so you can allow him to rehab that torn ACL. Maybe sit out the entire season. We know Bill Belichick loves giving people the Foxborough flu as it is, so might as well John Metchie sit out the season, and after the season, Jacoby Myers is a free agent. That's where John Metchie would fit in perfectly. You'd have him, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, and Devontae Parker as your 4 wide receivers. You can't ask for better when you're looking for Mac Jones and the talent you have around him, not to mention the tight ends. I think that the Patriots really need to consider a wide receiver with their 2nd pick.
And lastly, let's look at the Dallas Cowboys after the departure of Amari Cooper to the Cleveland Browns and Cedric Wilson to the Miami Dolphins. Michael Gallup as the number 2 is great when he's healthy, but you got to make sure that there's a guy in there that you can count on. And Dak Prescott could definitely count on John Metchie. When they need to grind out some hard yards, this is the guy to go to. And Michael Gallup, with the injury history he has, and CeeDee Lamb with the spotty catching, you need that sure hand guy, and John Metchie can definitely be that. candidate for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys offense.
Taking one Alabama wide receiver in Amari Cooper and trading him out for John Metchie doesn't get better than that. Overall, John Metchie is going to provide a lot for any team that he goes to. It may not be this year, and that's the problem. A lot of teams are looking at the here and now. A lot of teams need to start looking at the future, and John Metchie is the future. Once he gets onto the football field, he is going to be the guy that, how did we overlook him? I'm telling you right now, as we make this in April, John Metchie will be that guy. So I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of John Metchie and where you'd like to see him go. Let us know where you think he would fit best. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.